It's Monday. We're back in the office. How's your week going?
And we're back. Week was good. Weekend was good. How about yours?
Yeah, good. It's holiday season. Same as you. I think families coming into the city a lot, so it gets a little bit of hectic, but I can't complain. You?
Same thing. We had a family in town,
easing into the holiday season.
kicking it off strong.
Love it. Love it. So speaking of holiday season, Giving Tuesday was last week, and probably unknown to most people, we actually work with a ton of international and domestic nonprofits. Talk to me about the nonprofits that we work with and just what that relationship looks like. We're having this problem again. I was just saying, talk to me about the relationship between us and the nonprofits we work with, Frank.
Sure thing. So we actually started working with nonprofits, I think it was 2017 or 2018, and we launched our very first day involved into the Day Week conference event sales. And it was National Nonprofit Day. Girl Scouts was the sponsor. We took over Times Square, and we said, this is great for nonprofits to get the word out. There's an element of the program where they can actually raise money while launching the billboard campaign. So let's say a nonprofit has a donor base of 50,000 people. They send out an email. They say, hey, for $25 an ad play, we can be in Times Square, and then we charge them a discounted rate so they can take the difference as a donation. And then they get the visibility of being in Times Square and posting that to social media and sending the pictures out in email. It's funny, from the first year, we've actually had some people that were there with street teams hanging off of phone poles, telephone poles, or street lights. And they threw big events around it. So we went from National Nonprofit Day on August 17th every year to doing Giving Tuesday. And then in October is Breast Cancer. Not only some great placements around nonprofit partners, but some great programs as well to not only increase visibility but to help them raise money as well.
I come from a venture background, and I've always been a big fan of Brad Feld, who, if you don't know, co-founded Techstars. And his go-to sort of phrase that he coined was operating startups and corporates with a give first sort of ethos and mindset. Where did this thought process originate within your head to give back and work with nonprofits?
So it's interesting because it came from a different angle. Nonprofits can figure out a way to crack that market, with limited ad dollars and needing to make the money work well for the business. Then we certainly can crack, other businesses like, the fashion industry or retail, even education. So we actually went after and targeted the nonprofit industry in 2017 and 2018 because we wanted to build a program that we knew could scale, and we knew if we do it with a nonprofit that we could businesses. As you mentioned. So now we helping raise money, supporting that have bubbled up over the years, but not really started as how can we attack a tough industry. Nonprofit is at that point we thought would be most difficult when we did it. We were able to scale it up to for-profit business.
That makes a ton of sense. Now, obviously, philanthropy is amazing, but talk to me about return on investment from nonprofit advertising and how these NGOs can actually see or expect to see either donations come in through their platform or to increase their visibility within prospects that they are reaching out to. What does that look like?
So I spoke before the issue in advertising that we solve, which is last click attribution. Typically, nonprofits, for-profits, they'll look at where did the person come from or what do they see last. They won't necessarily credit all the way up to the top of the funnel where someone might have seen an ad on a billboard, then visited a website, then got targeted on Google, then clicked. In little values traditionally has been given to that full experience because the technology pre-5-tier just hadn't been there. So the thing that we always lean on is the value and the ROI is really at the highest level. The access that we're giving and the ability to be on these boards, as we go down the funnel and as we integrate it with more and more touch points like the ones that I just mentioned, we do have the ability to tie everything down to return on investment for investing in, say, 10 billboard plays. But again, we're at a point in the world and in the industry where 90% of our clients just with us because they only have to spend a few $100s on an ad campaign, and it's something they never would have been able to do before. So while we're building, very deep ROI analysis, currently the value that a lot of our clients are seeing are just the low cost, highly targeted ad packages. And it's only a handful of times a year where we actually get into, what types of donations did this drive, how many, people walk through the door, but we're getting there. But, again, going back to, telling you the truth and how it is, most of our clients just are elated with the fact that they can have access to things that they didn't think they could have access to.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, changing gear a little bit. In the spirit of transparency and visibility, we've worked with 2 major nonprofits out of dozens recently. You want to just take a second and highlight those 2 and tell everyone a little bit about them?
Yeah, so one is Orphan Starfish Foundation. They're a great nonprofit that goes into orphanages around the world, puts in education programs, because I didn't know this until we started working together, but they, a lot of the orphans, the children at 18, and the local gangs, the local, nefarious players in whatever part of the world we're talking about, Africa, South America, you name it, wait outside the orphanages, and then they put them into a life of crime or worse. So Orphans was the gentleman who started it was a banker, and he had kids, and had to fly all over the world for work, and he told his bank, hey, you need to find me, or places where I can stay an extra day because I'm going to be away from my kids. I want to go see kids at these orphanages, and that's how he, came up with the idea and founded the organization. So fast forward a short 2 years, they've now been around, I think, 20 plus. He quit his job on Wall Street and was fully behind this mission to, essentially educate and train and orphans from, leaving the orphanage at 18 and going into some other, field. The other one is Cycle Kids. It's funny, but 2 children-focused nonprofits. Cycle Kids is an organization that puts a bike program into schools. So, a school that is sponsored will get 30 bikes that the kids can ride around. They can learn about cycling, and there's a tie between personal accomplishment and growth and confidence by learning to ride a bike that equates right back into several other areas of a child's life. So they're another great partner of ours, and we helped this fall promote their program to get more donations to put more bikes in schools.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great background. I think last thing, just to close out this episode today, because it's been on our mind all day, is suggestions for organizations looking to reallocate end-of-year budgets. Because it's always an awkward time where you get to the end of the year and you're not sure if you should roll over your budget or invest it now. What are your thoughts? Great
question. So specifically advertising budgets. We constantly get calls this time of year, all the way to December. They said, hey, we have some extra budget laying around. If we don't use it, we're not going to get it again next year because, historically, as budget planning has gone, budget can be reallocated elsewhere next year. So a lot of our clients want to get their ad dollars off the books this year. And the challenge that we've had as a business for the last several years is that we are a revolutionary product and way of buying media. So we don't get put in that traditional, planning bucket, right? So if a client wants to run for, let's say, Giving Tuesday, that's the easy one, or let's say they want a billboard around Valentine's Day, those are certainly things that we can allow for pre-buys on. But when it comes to 2024, and there was a couple of articles just came out and said, next year, the way that people buy ads is going to shift to be more in line with what we're doing. What I'm encouraging clients to do is to go beyond just those basic products and almost like a pay-per-click campaign or cost-per-click campaign in search. Audience over the course, you have a year to use to allocate those dollars to really drive business goals. And then on top of that, we have 10% bonus to anybody.
Awesome. Sounds amazing. All right. Well, till tomorrow, Frank. I'll catch you later, mate.
Some new faces.
Perfect. See you later, Frank.